Best-selling author Jay Payleitner says our kids, believe it or not, are counting on us to unshackle them from their screens and engage them with the family. He joins us today with what he calls parenting hacks for great kids, for raising great kids. Welcome back to the Harvest Show,
Valerie,
Jay.
thank you. Hey, Stephen.
Okay, so to talk about this topic, you have to have some credibility, some street cred, as we call it. You are the father of 5 adult successful children.
Yeah, I got 4 boys out of college and married, successful members paying into my Social Security. And
That's the way you do
my
it.
daughter's still still figuring it out. She's going through some college things, but right now, but yeah, I think maybe just in the last few years, grandkids started coming. So I got 6 grandbabies now, all under 4 years old, and my wife is in heaven about that, and I am too. It's fantastic.
And your wife, you did not, your kids were not reared only by you. You have a wonderful wife who was a stay-at-home mom for how many years?
Rita was a stay-at-home mom for 30 years. Somehow we worked it out. We took the smaller vacations and,
That's right.
and cut back on some things. And then when Rayanne went off to college, my daughter went off to college, she ran for city council. She's an alderman in our town of 30,000 people. So she works harder and smarter than me.
That's right. I mean, with all that experience in raising children, I'm sure she has a lot to bring to the table there in your
she loves her town, and she brings a moral center to the council too.
I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, with 5 kids and now grandkids that you're continuing to test your theories on, when it comes to quick tips, I'm sure you've picked up hundreds and hundreds of them along the way.
Actually, most of my books have been for dads, and this one here that we're talking about today. The idea of quick tips is for moms and dads, of course. But you called them parenting hacks, and that was the original title of the book. when I presented it to the publishers, and they said, parenting hacks are bad things. No, hacks are good things. Young parents these days knows that a hack is a good, it's a shortcut. It's a sneaky strategy, we call them.
Yes.
So we changed the title to Quick Tips for Busy Families, which I guess is parenting hacks, but not quite as clever and snappy.
In one part, you say that one tip is to just blast classical music.
Well,
I mean, I know they think they do that in Guantanamo.
Yes, I've heard that. Yeah, that was something that my wife came up with. When you need to get the kids' attention in the back of the minivan or SUV, you just, in Chicago, it's WFMT. You turn it on and you crank it up a little bit. It's like, oh, Mom needs my attention now. So it's a discipline technique just to get the kids' attention.
We live in this fast-paced, go society, and we almost kind of like that. I mean, why is it that we're drawn to have things so fast-paced and moving quickly when our kids, we only have a short amount of time with them?
Yeah, isn't it true that we just build expectations, and it might be the digital age. Everybody's got their screens going, and I don't know if you can figure that one out. Let me know. But I'm here just to slow us down and to connect. That's kind of my jam. Is like, let's connect because it's a short time. It doesn't seem like it when you're in the middle of it.
Right.
When you got 6 kids, need your attention, or 5 kids need your attention. It seems like we're just going crazy. That's when you think, maybe someday I'll be a grandparent. Maybe someday. But we need to slow down.
And you also say that our kids really want us to unshackle them, to pull them away from that technology at times, so that they can be a part of the family.
Yeah, I think once they get a taste of that, and the kids don't know that kids are trying to keep up with their friends, and they don't really know the true benefit of slowing down until you kind of force them to and go, oh, this was a good thing. And if you can enter their world and slow them down and give them little joys of human contact. Even just kids need discipline. They need your 9-year-old, 12-year-old needs to do the dishes, have chores. But if you can kind of settle up next to them once in a while, hey, I'm going to help you do dishes tonight, and then you settle up next to them, and then all of a sudden you're not in their face talking. You're just next to them. Yeah. You're taking half their work away, so they're glad you're there, and you're just chatting with them. So the idea, and that's what the hacks are, just ideas on how to connect with your kids and slow them down and have real conversations.
When it comes to the connectivity that we have today through cell phones and tablets and television and all the rest, is it almost like, I mean, you think that an intervention's almost needed, but I think there's better ways, and you've come up with some that doesn't seem contrary to maybe what the pressure that the kids are feeling from their peers to stay online or stay connected to the culture in general, but that helps them to willingly disconnect.
Yeah. Well, a great example is video games. You know, boys and girls are doing that, and one of the hacks, one of the ideas, talking to other parents, is let the kids set their time limit per day. You know, 12-year-old boys sometimes go 4 or 5 hours on video games. And if you say, Mike, you know what? We're going to give you a chance to establish your own. I mean, try this out. It may work, it may not work. Mike, you can play video games as much as you want. You set the time, and he'll go, well, how about a couple hours? And you go, ka-ching, yes. And then you can hold him accountable because he's chosen the amount of time. And you might need to set the kitchen timer for him, but that's one of the ideas would be to let them set their own time limit, and then you can hold them accountable because they chose the amount of time.
Would you also say that a quick tip is to have your children read out loud, or read out loud? Yes, have your children read out loud regardless of their age?
Well, my golly, yeah. You know what? Does a 3-year-old want you in there reading, Go Dog Go and Good Night Moon? Absolutely. And then, if you keep going into your kids' bedrooms when they're 4 and 5 and 6, and read books out loud, and the older you get, the deeper they get, and you can have conversations then. Read out loud as a family, and even bedtime kind of thing.
Okay, let's tie this all together with the faith that we want to instill in our children. What's the best way to get them engaged in their faith? Well,
to make it real, to make it part of your life, so they can see the benefit. So, you're not screaming around at going to a 9 o'clock service. You're not racing around at 8:45 saying, "Get up, get up, get up." You're talking about it. It's part of life. The idea that even the night before, it's like, hey, we're going to a 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock service. Let's figure that out, and then go to breakfast afterwards, go to brunch afterwards. Especially older kids. I mean, you can't drag them. They have to want to go, and they have to see it in your life. I love my format. Lots of short chapters. You laugh one chapter, and then you get a real serious point the next, and then there's some spiritual truths in there. For instance, that great parenting verse from Ephesians: don't exasperate your kids.
Yes.
You know what? Yeah. It's not just yelling at your kids that exasperates them. It's losing your integrity, or not giving them enough of your time. So parents, don't exasperate your kids. You got to figure out what exasperates your kids, what you're doing, and that's a challenge for parents.
So you have 144 tips in this project, quick tips for busy families. And I know you've tried many of them yourself. And what's the #1 tip that you find to be the most?
I've thrown this one out to lots of dads and parents, and they go, it's fantastic. You want your 14-year-old to chat with you? Put your high school yearbook on the kitchen table and then walk away. They will find it, and they will start paging through. They will see your creepy-looking picture with the bow tie or whatever, the bad haircut or whatever, and they will ask you questions. They will laugh at you, and then if they're asking you questions, then you can ask them questions. Now, if someone said, hey, Stefan, I'll always remember that weekend at Peterson's Cottage, you might have some explaining to do. What happened that weekend at Peterson's Cottage.
It was so memorable.
But that's okay, because then you can ask them what they're doing this weekend. So put your high school yearbook out is maybe my #1 tip.
That's a good one.
But again, I came across.
Well, Jay,
that's a good one.
I always learn something about parenting when you stop by. So thanks for joining us. In fact, Jay will join us again next Monday here on The Harvest Show. That's April the 24th, so you don't want to miss it. To connect with Jay, go to jpayleitner.com. Or if you can't spell his last name, just go to harvest-tv.com for a link to his new project. It's called Quick Tips for Busy Families. Coming up later, Brian Bush with your prayer request. But up next, Pastor Mark Lance with today's teaching. We'll be right back.